In today's world, writing an article that grabs attention and keeps people engaged can feel like a real challenge. With so much content out there, how do you make sure what you're writing is not just read but also remembered? Well, the truth is, great writing is not just about being grammatically perfect, it's about knowing your audience inside and out. When you understand who your readers are, you can deliver content that speaks directly to them. So, how do you write an article that your audience actually wants to read? That's exactly what we are diving into in this video. Stick with me until the end, and you will have actionable steps to create content that grabs attention from the first word and keeps your readers hooked until the last. Ready? All right. So let's jump in. So, the first thing is know your audience inside out. See, the first step to writing an article that your audience wants to read. You've got to know your audience like the back of your hand. Who are they? What are they struggling with? What do they need from your content? If you do not know the answer to these questions, your article is going to feel generic and nobody wants that. Therefore, think about your readers' demographics, interests, and pain points. Then craft your content in a way that resonates with them. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's say you are writing for small business owners. They are likely dealing with tight budgets, growth challenges, and time management issues. Now, your article should address those specific concerns to feel relevant. So, here's a small action tip for you: create reader personas. These are fictional profiles that represent your ideal readers. This will help guide your writings and ensure you're always speaking to your audience needs. Second strategy is choose topics that solve problems. Your audience does not just want to be entertained, they want solutions. The best articles address a specific problem and offer actionable advice that readers can use right away. When you solve your audience problems, you instantly become a valuable resource. Again, let's try to understand this with the help of an example. Imagine you are writing for a fitness audience. Instead of a broad topic like how to get fit, narrow it down to something specific like how to stay fit while working a 9 to 5 desk job. Now, this way, you are solving a specific problem, which is lack of time due to work, and you're solving it with practical solutions. So here's an action tip for you. Pay attention to the questions your audience is asking online. Head to forums like Reddit, Quora, or Facebook groups to find common pain points. Now, this will give you a treasure trove of article ideas. Third step is craft a killer headline. See, here is the deal. Your headline is everything. It's the first thing your audience will see, and if it doesn't grab their attention, they won't even bother clicking on your article. In fact, 80% of the people read headlines, but only 20% will actually read the rest of the article. So, your headline needs to promise something valuable. It should be clear, concise, and make people curious enough to click. Again, let's understand this with the help of an example. So, instead of a bland headline like tips for better SEO, try something more enticing like five proven SEO strategies to skyrocket your website traffic in 2024. Right? So, here's an action tip for you: use tools like co schedules, headline analyzer to test different headline variations and see which one scores the highest. Aim for headlines that are intriguing and make a clear promise. Fourth step is hook them in the introduction. See, your headline might get the click, but your introduction keeps readers around. So the first few sentences need to grab attention and make readers feel like your article is worth their time. So if your intro does not hook them, they will bounce. So what do you do then? Start with a bold statement, an interesting fact, or a question that gets your audience curious about what is next. Here is an example. Let's try to understand this with the help of an example. Try starting with something like, did you know that 93% of online experiences start with a search engine? If your site is not optimized, you are missing out on tons of traffic. So here's an action tip for you. Address a problem your audience is facing right away in the intro. Show them you understand their struggle and promise that your article will help solve it. Right. Now comes the fifth step, which is keep the language simple and engaging. See, nobody wants to read an article that feels like a textbook. Your audience is looking for clarity and ease of understanding. So avoid overly complicated language or jargons. Keep things simple, conversational, and engaging. But how do you do that? Let's try to understand this with the help of an example. If you are writing about digital marketing, don't say leverage omni-channel approaches to optimize consumer touchpoints. Instead, say use different platforms to reach your audience where they spend most of their time. Right? So here's an action tip, small action tip. Try using the Hemingway editor to simplify your writing. It highlights complex sentences and offers suggestions for making your content clearer and easier to read. Now comes the sixth step, which is use subheadings and bullet points. So most people do not read online articles word for word. They scan them. So that's why subheadings and bullet points are your best friends. They break up the text and therefore making it easier for readers to follow along and find the information they need. Let's look at an example. So instead of writing a huge block of text about the benefits of social media marketing, break it up into subheadings like increased brand awareness, better targeting, and higher engagement rates. So here's a small action tip, like always. Use subheadings to guide readers through your article. Each action should flow logically from one point to the next. So if you have a lot of details to explain, use bullet points to make it easier to digest. Now comes seventh step, which is what? Add visuals to engagement. See, visuals like images, infographics, and videos are great for breaking up text and making your content more engaging. People process visuals faster than text, and adding them makes your article more memorable. So here's an example. If you are writing a how to article, include step by step screenshots to guide your readers through the process. If you are sharing statistics, use an infographic to visualize the data. So here's a small action tip. Use free tools like Canva or PictoChat to create simple, eye-catching visuals for your articles. Just make sure your images are optimized for web to avoid slowing down page load times. Now comes eighth step, which is include a strong call to action or CTA as it is called. So you've written an awesome article. Now what? Now do not let your readers leave without giving them a clear next step. Whether it is subscribing to your newsletter, downloading a guide, or sharing your article, your call to action should be clear and easy to follow. Let's understand this with the help of an example. So if your article is about SEO tips, your CTA should be want more SEO tips, download a free guide, and start optimizing your site today. So here's a small action tip again for you. Place your CTA at the end of your article and potentially halfway through as well. Make sure it offers something valuable that aligns with your audience's need. Ninth step is edit ruthlessly. See, even the best writers need to edit their work. So once your first draft is done, go through it with a fine tooth comb. Look for clarity, flow, and grammar mistakes. Cut out any fluff that does not add value. Let's try to understand this with the help of an example. So, if you've written a sentence that feels too wordy or repetitive, simplify it. Say, in order to optimize your site effectively becomes to optimize your site, right? I hope you got the gist. So, here's an action tip for you. Use tools like Grammarly to catch spelling and grammar errors. Have someone else read your article too. Fresh eyes can catch things you might miss. And now comes the number 10th point, which is promote your article effectively. See, writing the article is only half the battle. You also need to make sure people see it. So, share your article on social media, email it to your subscribers, and even consider paid promotion if needed. So, here's an example. See, once your article is published, create a few social media posts with eye catching visuals and compelling snippets to drive traffic to your site. Now, here comes the action tip, small action tip. So, use tools like Buffer or Hootsuite to schedule your article promotion across different platforms. Consider repurposing your article into other formats like videos or infographics to reach a wider audience. So, these were the 10 steps. So, here's the conclusion of the entire video. Write articles that resonate. See, writing an article that your audience wants to read does not have to be difficult. When you know your audience, solve their problems, and keep your content engaging, you will create articles that resonate. Do not forget to add visuals, include a CTA, and promote your article to make sure it gets the attention it deserves. So, if you found these tips helpful, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more content creation and marketing strategies. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.